Listen, the Yinlin banner featuring the newest 4-star character Lumi is literally probably a day or two away. I don't remember the exact release date, but Lumi is just about here, and we've already been able to try her out within this update as it is, but we haven't really been able to like play as her for a long extended time, unless you really just, you know, didn't do much during that story mission. That being said, right, I don't know if she's going to be what warrants you to summon on this banner, and we're going to talk about why. But before we get into that, like, comment, subscribe. Guys, we're trying to hit 3,000 subs by the end of the year. We are on December 10th as of this recording and release of the video. So we got 21 days. Is it possible to get to 3,000 subs in 21 days? I don't know. We're going to try, and hopefully that you all can help me out with that. But without any further delay, let's go ahead and dive into a couple of the 4 stars first. First, I want to talk about Baizhi and also Yanwu because they're part of the banner as well, and I kind of know a little bit about them, even though I don't really play as them as much. Now, Baizhi is considered a really, really good healer. She's actually on Pridewin's tier list here, tier 1, which is pretty good in the support realm, although she's kind of in the middle technically. She's still really good in my personal opinion. I've used her a couple times, and she's one of the healers I use on my thing outside of, obviously, we have Verena, and then we also have the new healer that's really freaking hot, Shorekeeper. I prefer Shorekeeper, right? I love Shorekeeper over both of them. But Baizhi is still really, really good, especially as a 4-star that heals as good as she does. Now, I haven't used her a lot because there's times when I'm building other characters and I'm not worried about, you know, end game content. So I don't use her a lot on my teams. I'm mainly using Shorekeeper. However, the times I have used her, she is very, very good. So overall, Baizhi, in general, gets a thumbs up from me. I think that she is good. Even though she is a free-to-play unit, it's still really, really good to get those extra resonance chains because she is very good. Now, onto a character that's not so good, Yanwu. Now, Yanwu's kind of like... kind of off and on being good and being bad, being good and being bad. It depends on the update and what he's used for. Right now, Pridewin has him at the bottom, and I don't think that means he's necessarily bad, right? So for his abilities, right, and I really want to talk about his abilities specifically. Resonance skill here, he basically summons a thunder field, and in that thunder field, all characters are infused with electro damage, which is not necessarily bad, right? It's pretty dang good. However, it's not exactly something that's going to be the best thing about, you know, your team. He does get anti-interruption in his Resonance Liberation, but that's about it. Like, it's not that he's bad, he's just kind of meh. It depends, it's flavor of the month type of thing. Is he good in this update? Is he bad in this update? Is he going to help your team? Is he going to make your team, you know, feel really, really bad? I don't know. But to me, the times I have used him, which is very, very little, because I really, for me, I think he's fine, but I don't think he's fine enough for me to constantly use him. So maybe that means he's bad. I don't know. I just don't use him as often as I should to really warrant an opinion. However, at face value with his abilities and the times I have used him, it's going to be a thumbs down for me because I don't think that he's worth anybody pulling him on the account. Now, that might change the next time he pops up and it'll be like, hey, flavor of the month, he's good again. But to me, I've never really liked using him personally, right? So there's that. On to the unknown factor, Lumi. Now, I had to go to a different site. I had to go to Games 8 because everybody and their mother, even though she's technically released and her kit's released, nobody wants to put her kit on their website. Guys, the live stream ended and they already talked about her kit. You are perfectly fine releasing information about her kit. I'm just saying. Looking at you, Pridewin. Looking at you, Wuthering Lab. Looking at you, Wuthering.gg. All you guys just need to, you know, get over it. Her kit's out there. So let's go ahead and go a little bit in depth with her kit. We're going to scroll down a little bit. I'm not going to go into too many of the basic attacks. Outside of this, she has a sprint, which she goes into zoom mode, which is like super, super fast, right? Now, let's talk about her resonance skill. Resonance skill, Searchlight Service. Pounce. When in yellow light mode, which is the sprint mode, use resonance skill to perform Pounce, which consumes stamina to pounce on the target before switching to red light mode. Lumi will perform a pounce without stamina cost when switched onto the field. Rebound. When in red light mode, use Resonant skill to perform Rebound, which consumes stamina to leap backwards and attack the target before switching to yellow light mode. Yellow light mode perform ranged attacks when in yellow light mode, and red light mode is close range. So she's kind of adaptable to the situation. You can go into each and every mode depending on what your preference is and how you're going to deal with that certain fight. It's not bad, it's just one of those things where I feel like it's kind of a little technical. Like, you have to be very careful with how you approach a fight. So if you're going to go further away, you can go further away, or you can go close range with your broad blade. Now, let's talk about the Forte circuit. Signal light, energized pounce. When yellow light spark is fully recovered, replace resonant skill with resonant skill energized pounce that deals electro damage, and enter red spotlight mode. The damage dealt is considered basic attack damage. When in red spotlight mode, the damage multiplier of red light basic attack and red light heavy attack is increased with the extra amount of sparks recovered. Red spotlight mode ends after performing altogether 4 basic attacks or heavy attacks. So again, you're kind of switching between that red spotlight mode and being able to do more damage with your basic skill or basic attack. Now, energize rebound. When red light spark is fully recovered, replace resonant skill with resonant skill energize rebound that deals electro damage, and enter yellow spotlight mode. This damage dealt is considered basic attack damage, and this is going to be further away. Obviously, this is your ranged attack. When in yellow spotlight mode, glitter is replaced by glare with an increased damage multiplier and an extra amount of sparks recovered. Yellow spotlight mode ends with shooting 6 glares, right? You also have your laser. Casting Atro skill consumes all sparks obtained in the current mode. Laser can be cast when the amount of consumed sparks is greater than or equal to 25, dealing electro damage. Damage dealt is considered basic attack damage, and every 25 sparks consumed generates 1 extra laser beam, up to 4 laser beams. I just got home. You know, we're dealing with, wind out here, man. I had to ride my bike in the wind. It's cold. So, yeah, you have basically a whole bunch of different ways that you can go about it. It's basically what you want to do in that circumstance, which I think Lumi is really, really good and technical for that position. Like, if you're very adaptable to your battle situations, instead of just going like me, W key and B in hand, press and all that stuff, Lumi is a great character for you. And she seems like she's going to be very, very fun, at least in general, right? So for me, I feel like with a new character, a new 4-star, it makes sense to summon for her, so she's going to get the thumbs up from me. I think that that's a really, really good character to summon on. And again, it seems like she's really fun and technical, so if you want to expand your repertoire, this is a good time to do it, right? Now on to Yinlin. Yinlin is hot. Summon for her. That's it. That's all you need. But Yinlin's still really, really good on Pridewind's list, and I'm only using Pridewind's list as a kind of gauge, right, to understand where it's coming from. But I also have a lot of experience with Yinlin, but she is in the same tier as Changli and Zheji. Very good company. And Mortefi, which Mortefi is really good too. Now, with Yinlin, the thing with her is that they say she's a hybrid, but I look at her as more on the DPS side. She's able to do a lot more like electro damage in that sense, being able to like kind of do dodge counters to stack up and get more electro damage onto her. So to me, Yinlin is on the teetering of like in the middle, right? I still think she's a good summonable 5-star, right? But with the likes of Jinxie and Camellia, it's kind of tough, right? But as a secondary DPS character, she is great, because her only competition, or only real competitions in my personal opinion, for secondary DPSs are Mortefi and Zheji, right? And Zheji, I think, is the top, followed by Yinlin, followed by Mortefi. So to me, Yinlin is a great secondary character to have on your team. So I'm going to say yes. I wouldn't say she's a must summon, but she's definitely worth your currency if you're thinking about summoning for her. I wouldn't blame you for it, right? Overall, it seems like with this banner, you have a couple of characters to really look forward to, with Baizhi getting some more resonant chain, Lumi being a brand new character and being very technical, and Yinlin being considered one of the better of the sub DPS characters in a lot of people's opinion. I haven't seen anybody complain about Yinlin. Has she been power crept a little bit with JG here? A little bit, But as you can see, even Pridewind kind of sees it's not so much as she outpowers her. They're in the same type of tier. I wouldn't say I agree. I say that JG is a little bit higher than Yinlin, but that's just me. Although Yinlin's high. But the overall spotlight would go to Lumi, being that brand new character, a brand new 4-star, and you're able to pull multiple of her before you even get that 5-star character. So to me, this is going to be worth your currency if you decide to summon on this banner. Now, before we end off today, I just want to say I'm thankful for all of you showing your love and support, and I definitely appreciate everything that's going, on in my life regarding the YouTube channel. Even if it's not the biggest amount of views on every single video, I do appreciate all the views I get and all the comments I get of interaction. So thank you all for being there for me. It's been a hell of a 2024, and we're getting closer to the end of 2024 going into 2025. So before we get there, again, help me get to 3,000 subs before we go into 2025. I would really appreciate it. But that's going to be it for today. Love you all to death. And as always, we will catch you in that next video. Please take care and be safe. Stop the recording!